And I guess we're live. It's April 4th. It's July 4th, 2020. It's Independence Day. Independence Day is an incredibly important day in American history. I hope you guys would know. I learned today that Independence Day was only declared a national federal holiday in 1941. Who would have known? But we certainly have been honoring it and observing it for a lot longer than that, since as far back as 1776, a day that changed the world forever. I think the British had some kind of funny thing. They said that nothing of importance ever happened on that day, but they were wrong, and I'm honored to be here with you guys. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. This will be a shorter live stream. We'll just be on for about half an hour. Later on tonight, in a few hours' time, I will be online again from a casino in town. We're going to go up and see some people and check out some fireworks. So I got my gimbal charged up, my phone is charging, but I thought we would address a few things in this video today and talk about what has to happen. Hopefully the casinos would listen, but let's be honest, nobody's hearing us. But we need to make Las Vegas safe for people to come back. And I was trying to think of some ways, and unfortunately everything I talk about, it just basically falls into the idea of some kind of government intervention. And I'm not a big government person. Heck, I'm not. I'm not into governments telling people what they have to do and how they have to conduct their business. I'm more of a laissez-faire. I can't even say it. It's a free market thing. Let them sort themselves out. But when it comes to this, what's happening has got to be changed. And I think that we need to have some solutions. So it's going to remind me of a lot of different things. How you doing, Day Tripper? Hey, happy, healthy 4th to you all. Tony Quest is here. Sub now. It does say that on my hat, doesn't it, Desiree? Yes, my hat says sub now. Hopefully you guys will subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I don't imagine many people will see this right now, maybe later. It is, prime fireworks time across the country on the East Coast. We still have super bright daylight out here, and I can hear the cicadas outside my window buzzing. I don't know if you guys can hear that at all. So today's live stream is just going to focus on what would I do if I was around here and I was in charge of making sure that the casinos could be safe for employees and safe for the general public to go through, and make it something that can be doable and attainable for us to make a nice little symbiosis where people are not going to get sick when they go back home and spread something, and they're not going to be having spikes in cases in Las Vegas. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a story harkening back to when I worked in timeshare. Now, when I worked in timeshare, you might think that we were all just a bunch of hobo street peddlers trying to body snatch people to slam them into timeshare presentations. And although that's true for a lot of people, I was actually considered myself a sales professional, and I do to this day. And in that, I remember how we had to be licensed. As a matter of fact, if you go to the Nevada Real Estate Division and type in my name, you'll see that I have a license. It's lapsed. It's not active right now, but that's because I'm not in the business right now. But I held that license every year from somewhere around 2010 all the way through to last year. And I remember there was a police officer named Officer Garris. I don't think he's with the force anymore, but he was with the Metro Watch Command. Not Watch Command. He was with the resort district. And he did not like timeshare people one bit. And so they actually did a few things. Now, what I'm getting at right now is that first thing I would do, and you guys can tell me I'm wrong, and I'm not a big government kind of guy. I want low taxes. I want us to have the government help us as much as they have to, but not control our lives. But I think right now what we need to do to make it safe here is have some kind of government intervention in terms of making sure that large-scale properties are being policed and are policing the guests in a non-evasive fashion. So I'm going to explain what happened. When that cop, Officer Garris, he and I had some interactions, and we won't go into what those were all about. The first one was incredibly negative, and the second one was very positive. Go figure how that works. And he would basically, he would find every way to find out that a timeshare person wasn't licensed or that their license would be invalid. When you sign a declaration to get licensed for timeshare and you're not the actual salesperson inside, you're just an agent working outside. You're not an agent, you're a rep. So you're a timeshare representative. And what they would do is they would go ahead and ask you a bunch of questions. Have you ever been arrested for a DUI? Have you ever, do you owe child support? Do you owe back taxes? And you can answer any way you wanted. And Officer Garris would go ahead and he would look for people that he knew had a criminal record that lied on that little checkbox. And he would go out there and he would cancel all their timeshare licenses and put them in a prison cell for a day or two for working unlicensed, which is he has every prerogative to do that. They perjured themselves on a form. That's an example of the government stepping in and doing their thing to make sure that people are complying with what the laws and regulations of the land are. Another example of compliance is when the Nevada Business Division or Division of Business, I can't recall which one it was, would walk the strip with the Metro, look for people selling unlicensed sunglasses, t-shirts, doing 3-card money games, selling bottles of water, shutting them down and making sure they couldn't operate and giving them a court date and telling them to go back to the court date. Now today, there was an article in the Review Journal that said that 65% of businesses are complying to the face mask rule. The rest of them are either flippantly telling the government that they don't believe in it, or they're just not enforcing it and they have to enforce it for their guests. But what happens with the casino properties and how come they're not enforcing it with the guests? And that's where I think it lies into. So if I were going to do things, I'd probably put a watchdog in the casinos. I would secret shop those casinos and I would say, look, we're the government. We just print endless money. Let's put some people in the employment of the government that are secret shoppers and have them go through and just silently document the different things that are happening in the casinos. And another thing that harkens back to the timeshare game that I remembered was when I found out about what were called chargebacks, which is where if a rep lies to the guest and says that the tour is 30 minutes long and they're getting $500 cash for doing a timeshare tour, they would be misrepresenting, and then they would charge the guy, maybe even give the guest $500 and then hit him with a hard penalty. The rep that signed him up would get hit with a $500 chargeback that eats into your paycheck. And the boss once said, you have to hit him in their checkbook. When you hit him in the pocketbook, people will listen to you. They will pay attention to you. So right now, yeah, we have to hit them in the pocketbook. We have to go to these properties and we have to make sure that the properties are definitely adhering to the rules and the government regulations. But I think it would be in good order and good discourse for us to go back and audit what they promised they would be doing. So going back even further back into May, before June 4th, the casinos reopened, all of those casino properties had to submit a plan to the Nevada Gaming Commission. And they had to submit the plan and say, this is what we're going to do. A lot of those plans were things like making sure that employees who had lapsed licenses were active for the opening, and they give some grace periods, making sure the cash reserves were all topped up for if somebody needed to win something. But a lot of them were health and safety related. And a lot of those plans, obviously, maybe they're being adhered to, but maybe we need a resubmission of plans going forward. Maybe we need to look at those plans and say, you need to now enforce everything you said you were going to try to enforce because you're not enforcing anything. And if you had secret shoppers going in here and documenting things and you just kept bringing up case after case after case and charging $1,000 fine for everybody, then you'd say, yeah, I guess I will have to enforce that law because I'm already losing millions of dollars a day as a casino property being open. I don't want to lose millions and then thousands of dollars and then put my entire gaming license in jeopardy, because the minute one of these properties gets a strike against their gaming license, it's going to send ripples in the entire industry and it's not going to be good. There's a couple of other things you can do. I look at the amount of people in the casinos. Now, I know this weekend it's incredibly busy, and I know that the casinos are short-staffed. They're not bringing people back. And the reason they're not bringing people back is because they don't have the same operating income that they had before. They don't have the same operating income because the people aren't coming back. So you see, it's a chicken and an egg thing, which just sucks. But it looks to me like if a person was going to walk into a property, it would make a lot of sense for them to get a 48-hour pass for their health, something like what they're doing at some places in California, I've heard, where somebody comes to the property, goes through a health screening check, and then they basically have a little sticker machine, like if you've ever seen a Walmart store, when you go to return something, they scan it, and then they print out a barcode, and they stick it on your item, and they know that you brought that item into the store. You didn't walk into the back of the store and pick up an item and walk to the front of the store to get it returned. You could print a sticker with a person's face on it. You could tell them to wear this while you're walking around the property, and it has a 48-hour expiration date. After 48 hours, we'd ask you to get re-health checked before you walk in the property again. Thank you so much, Mr. Customer, sir. Because let's be honest here, the health checks are not perfect. They're imperfect. The health checks are not always going to work. The health checks, after 48 hours, you could be infected, you could walk back into the property, but at least we're doing something to have the casinos actually be on top of things. Now, they have to be on top of things because of the face masks, you know. I'm wearing my patriotic face mask today. I will be doing this at the fireworks we do too tonight. We're going to one of the properties to see some fireworks. My wife makes these face masks. These don't stop it. They're not, the microns are too small, but when I sneeze, it does stop it. Proof, European countries wearing masks for the last few months. Looks like Italy, looks like Spain, looks like all these places where the end of the world was fraught upon them are getting better. So we have to adhere to the face mask rules. You have to adhere to the social distancing rules. If it means we dial back a little bit and we have only 20%, 15% in the properties, fine. Use some of your technology. Count people going into the doors. If a Walmart store can do it, you conceivably can do it too. Okay, close off some of your entrances and your exits. Because remember this one thing, I'm going to tell you this right now. People are claiming that no one's going to come to Las Vegas and wear a face mask. But everybody's in Las Vegas wearing face masks. People are here in town. People are adhering. Make sure that people are coming through have to hit a hand sanitizer area. You know what they have? They have microscopic little misting systems in some Asian countries. They have UV entryways into doors. Put some capital investments into keeping your guests healthy, and it will pay off in spades and dividends in the future. People will go back home and say, of all the casinos I went to in the entire city, I felt the healthiest with that one. And then that's where people will go. Instead of doing that, the casinos put it onto the onus of us, the general public. Let me tell you what happens if there's no speed limits posted on a road. People do whatever they want. People, and I'm included in that, not you or you, all of us are basically the masters of our own destruction when left to our own means. So we can't have that. We have to have some rigid rules for the next little while. Not so rigid that people are afraid, not having stormtroopers like the WINS plan originally called for, but a plan in place so everybody going through a casino property gets scanned and checked every 48 hours or so, putting some extra security measures at the front doors. If downtown can check everybody going into the properties, like at the D, where they do that already, and like at the Golden Gate and at the Californian, if those casinos, you know, those dirty, dingy, low-class casinos, and I'm only doing the quotes because right now they seem like they're taking the high road, then the casinos can put some money into all this. And if the government is so paranoid and freaked out over everything and they don't want to close down, then the government can put some money into hiring some employees. And you can have what? Let's say you have 12 properties on the strip. I don't even know how many it is. I'm not going to count it in my head right now. If you had 12 properties on the strip and you hired 13 people to float between those properties as secret shoppers on a cycle, those properties would be paranoid about following the rules. And if we all follow the rules, then we're going to have a good time. When you don't follow the rules, that's when people start to have a bad time. When the guy in your neighborhood doesn't follow the rules, blasts his music out, makes his yard into a garage, everybody kind of diminishes the whole neighborhood. And that's what I would do if I was actually responsible for all this. Because here's the thing, right? It's a cascade. There's a catalyst for all this stuff. One casino property closes, and another one closes. People go out of work. People can't afford to stay in Las Vegas. They move to where family is in some other neighboring state. They never come back to Las Vegas. Then the casinos basically lose their foothold here. They start to sell off their properties, or they close their properties, and now we have a bunch of buildings that are doing nothing in town. And as people lose confidence into coming into Las Vegas because they're afraid that if they send, if Microsoft sends all their employees for consumer electronics, they're likely to get sick and lose productivity worth billions, countless millions of dollars. This is a bad thing to be in, so we have to make sure that it's safe going forward. Tomorrow's July 5th. What are you doing on July 5th? While you're watching all of your tourists go home, you're watching ourselves fade back. So we have July, August, and September. Wow, Gary Shipley, thank you so much, my friend. We flew back home today, had a good time in Vegas, even with the mask. We enjoyed meeting you. I enjoyed meeting you too, Gary. Gary was the guy who told me that I should read Super Casino. I already have that book. Super Casino is a great book. You can head up on Amazon, go to notleavinglasvegas.com/Amazon. You can buy a copy of Super Casino or any other Vegas-related book. They credit back the channel. I have to make an affiliate disclaimer. That's the disclaimer that YouTube makes me say. So we have 2 months going into the Labor Day. I keep saying Memorial Day, the Labor Day long weekend. We have to make sure that we have everything under control by then. Because by then, other states are going to be open. Disney will be open. There'll be more competition, more chances for people to take their vacation dollars elsewhere. But we can't get lax right now. And that's it. That's what I just want to say about that. POTUS did mention Vegas as a great city in his speech last night. He did, and you know what? Man, it is a great city. You don't understand the financial linchpin that Las Vegas has on the southwestern part of the United States. Sure, Los Angeles is a great city, so is San Francisco. San Diego's a wonderful town. Salt Lake City has a lot of winter activities, and you have Phoenix, you have the Grand Canyon, but all of that seems to be connected like a hub and a spoke to Las Vegas. You can go to Las Vegas and you can drive to the Grand Canyon in 2 hours. You can be in Bryce within 6 hours. You can go to Southern California within 4 or 5 hours. That's why there's 45 million people that come through a year. And that's important. That's important. We need to have that many people coming through Las Vegas every single year. We need to make sure that it's going well for the city and for the value of our town, because we're not so diversified out here. So just to recap what I had just said, all of what I just said, I did hearken back to how back in the day, the Division of Business, the Real Estate Division, and the Metropolitan Police Force all put enforcement into cleaning up the Strip. They were very, very worried with people selling unauthorized bottles of water and fake sunglasses on the Strip. They were worried. They were worried about timeshare guys who shouldn't be licensed. They put manpower, people power, women power, whatever. They put their resources into making sure that those businesses were being compliant. Now here we are. Who's making sure that we're being compliant? Put some resources into the compliance of the hotels. Hire some secret shoppers to document things. You know, when you're in there and you're looking on your phone, nobody knows what you're doing. You're taking a picture, whatever. You're just having fun as a tourist. Hey, look. Anybody can look like a tourist, and start reporting these guys for violating things, and I'm not saying tattletale on the employees, but start documenting the guest experience. I'm not into doing this forever, and I don't want the guests to feel that they're going to be in trouble. I just want the casinos to understand that there's accountability to their actions, to them saying there's a pile of face masks over there, but not actually adhering to giving people face masks. There is accountability to the fact that I've had reports from many people that there's some casinos where people are checking in and not wearing face masks. They're checking in and not getting temperature checked. One of those places became a massive hotspot for this. Now they're offering $79 with no resort fees. My God, of course you are. You didn't temperature check people going into your hotel. People got very, very sick and went home. And that's your accountability. So business needs sometimes. I'm not like, for example, okay, look, the Environmental Protection Agency is good in a lot of ways. It's bad in some ways, but we have to make sure that the government oversight is there so industry doesn't destroy the country. CJ's daddy says, happy anniversary, 4th of July. Digging the LED hat. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's officially my 16th year in the United States. I've been here for 16 years and 6 hours and 49 minutes. So we have to put some accountability into the government to put accountability onto the casinos. The casinos should start investing in technologies that I know exist. There are nanotechnologies they've used in Italy and Rome. Roma, Italy. Roma, not just a tomato anymore. So they have technology for coating things with nanotechnologies. They have UV lights that they can use. They have ways to go through a gateway at the front door. And if it means that people are in the hotels a little bit slower, then oh bad, too bad, so sad. I drove past a Sam's Club yesterday and saw a lineup of people waiting to get into the store, and I don't hear Sam's Club having massive amounts of problems with people getting sick. I don't hear Sam's Club being a hot spot. So if you have to slow down the flow of traffic a little bit, people will understand. See, everybody said that we're not going to come to Vegas. I'm not going. It's not the same. And then they look out their window and they notice the mail carrier wearing a face mask. And then they go to the gas station and they see all the hand sanitizer. And then it sinks in on people. And they say, wait a minute. Yeah, you know what? Nothing's the same. I might as well go to Vegas here because if I go there, it's not the same. And if I go to the restaurant, it's not the same. And if I go camping, it's not the same. The bait store will have a limit of 5 people in it. And I'll have to wait outside in my car. So people know it's not the same. So start to take some responsibility, hotels. Start to ding these hotels with infractions. Start to make it a serious, serious thing. And the people will appreciate you because the hotels that do take things seriously, they will have accolades and people will understand. You have to take one for the team. Sometimes I say things on my streams that make me cringe. The fact that I'm not wandering all over the Strip tonight on the 4th of July and I'm going to a much smaller thing in a much smaller resort so I can see some fireworks outdoors makes me go, well, what am I doing? There's 344 people watching. I could have 1,344. But that's my accountability and my responsibility. So slow it down for a little bit, because no matter how much you want it, you ain't never going to get it back to where it was January 1st of 2019. Heck, you'd be lucky if you can get it back there in 2 years' time. But ask yourself, if you're a casino, do you want to stay in business? Do you want Vegas to become a ghost town? Do you want to shut down again? And by the way, speaking of those shutdowns, well, thank you so much, Sushak, Shine, and Paper City Gamer Jeff. Thank you guys. Oh, wow. So Massachusetts has no fireworks. We're going to see some fireworks on a live stream tonight around 9, so make sure you have your notifications turned on. Yeah, but ask yourself that question. Do you want to survive? Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? Got to have the references. This has been a very serious stream. I only have 10 minutes left because I have to get ready, take a shower, go into my house. I've been working all day on different things. I had to install a brand new in-window air conditioner for my wife and her face mask factory, and that's on VegasFaceMask.com. Michael Brown is here, still coming to Vegas on the 16th. Very nice. Get to the chopper. I hope to be there in 3 weeks, is what Paul says. So that's what I'm saying. So that's how I would fix things and right the ship. Count how many people are going into the casinos properly, okay? If you have to do that. Have some technology at the front doors when people are coming in. The government needs to take accountability and have some secret shoppers making some secret shopper reservations and making sure that those casinos that were not temperature checking their guests coming in are temperature checking their guests coming in. We also need the casinos to go back and revisit their program that they had submitted to the Gaming Control Board, audit them and see who's actually following those things, because nice wishes are one thing. Let's say you're in a relationship and you keep fighting with your spouse, and one day you tell your spouse, I have had an epiphany. I'm never going to do those things again. And you write her a long 2-page heartfelt warm from the bottom of your cackles, wherever those are, your cackles. Where are your cackles at? You write her a nice heartfelt letter and you hand it to her, and for a couple of days, everything is rosy-posy, and then you go right back to doing what you were doing. Then what was the value of the letter? You just wasted everybody's time. So we need to make sure that everybody's doing what they're doing. If you give that feeling to the guests that they're safe, they will comply with you, because people overall are in a state of mind where they want to have the rules so they feel safe. They know that there's rules so they feel safe. There's a good reason why we have a set of laws. Lawlessness begets chaos, and chaos begets more chaos, and we can't have those things happening. Anti-mask people are a serious problem, Harold says. Yeah, but there's always going to be anti-mask people, just like there's always going to be people that refuse to wear their safety belt. But if you're wearing a mask and they're not wearing a mask, then I guess that they're putting themselves more at risk than you are. So you can always be out there, and we will get to a herd immunity in a vaccine situation probably within 4 to 6 months. Don't quote me directly on that, but I imagine that by the time the winter comes, with the amount of cases we have, we'll be in a better spot. So these are all temporary things that the casinos have to focus on. Don't focus on trying to make your profits, casinos. You're not going to make your profits right now. Don't even try. Just look at Macau, China. Yeah, there's a 2-week quarantine in China, but it doesn't really matter. They're not making their money. You're not making your money either. So in the downtime when you're not making your money, why don't you focus on the community outreach and focus on being the ones that did it right? So back when you do your rocking chair test, does anybody know what the rocking chair tests are? That's when you do your thing where you look back at your life with your kids on your lap on your rocking chair. What did you do to make the world a better place? Nothing. I just let people come in and I pretended like there wasn't a highly communicable virus going around the world for the last 6 months. Crazy, right? Clifford says it's the end of 2021. Clifford might have some insider information. We see how long you live for. You are gambling with the oxygen in your blood. I don't know what that means, but we all are all doing that. That's the truth. We'll take over 2 years before we have a vaccine. Okay. If Vegas becomes a ghost town, there'll be plenty of Section 8 available. Yeah, but no jobs. Well, it's government money, right? We don't want that, though. Nobody wants that. Okay, curfew in Miami is from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Very crazy. How much does Stephen Campbell know so much? Wow. I just know things. I know stuff. That's what Fredo said. Not the Fredo on CNN, the other Fredo. Ha! See, I made a joke about somebody, and now everybody's going to say, see, I knew it. You're a bad word. And you're going to know. I was joking because that was pretty funny. They called that guy on CNN Fredo, and he flipped out. Don't flip out, man. You're a big celebrity. You're worth $10 million a year or something crazy like that. Vaccine rumors will come 3 weeks before the election. Trump will use it to get votes. Okay. Well, I mean, we could say that, Andrew. We don't know for sure. 6-foot distancing and washing your hands and covering your sneezes and coughs will do just fine. We'll be going to the West Law, Wendover in Nevada for the first time since all this happened. Can't wait to spend my money. Very nice. See you in Red Rock, Hannah says. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be up in that area. Be outside. So I'm okay with being outside. Being outside is okay as long as you're not with a billion other people. I don't imagine there's going to be that many people up there. You're the man now, dog. Ooh, he's quoting some Sean Connery. You're the man now, dog. So I'm James Bond. No, you're Sean Connery. Miss Moneypenny. Oh. No fireworks in Buffalo. I heard the Bills aren't going to have fans this year. I don't know if that's true. I haven't worn a mask since the start. I walk around outside and healthy as ever, Dominic says. Completely missing the point, but thank you for watching the stream, my friend Dominic. The Big Apple's rocking. Are you going to Vegas tonight? I'm not going to the Strip tonight. All the best blogger, all the best second-rate pikers. Well, that's a word you don't hear often from Wall Street. Pikers. Sounds like a very British word, doesn't it? Rumors are already out. Finding a vaccine is one thing. Vegas will be viable. Was not great this past week. Thugs crowds. Saw 2 robberies at Cosmo. That's crazy. I don't know. And by the way, some people might be offended by him saying thugs crowds. That's on you. That's on you guys. I mean, I know white thugs. I know I worked with them in timeshare for a long time. Bond. James Bond. Great content, not leaving Las Vegas. Give Steven some likes. Steven's going to be out of here in 5 minutes because I got to go do a bunch of things, and I didn't want to miss my streak. I did do a video this morning, and the reason I didn't do a video this morning was simple. If I do a video this morning, you get a notification. If I do a video this afternoon like this, which I promised somebody that I would do, I get a notification. And if I do a video tonight, I get a notification. Then tomorrow you may not get any notifications. YouTube kind of stops the notifications if we go hog wild. One last thing I will tell you is, so somebody mentioned that Trump mentioned Las Vegas as an important economic part of the country, and it really is an important economic part of the pie. We have a lot of conventions that come through here, and when it's normal season, it brings people from all over the world, and they pump billions of dollars annually into our economy, and that drives American companies and American entrepreneurship. And those American entrepreneurs put money into the economy and create businesses and create jobs and give you an opportunity to do something and hopefully make you say that you can do the same kinds of things. Just remember, everybody, we only have one life to live. And I'm not saying, don't come to Vegas and don't enjoy yourselves. I'm just saying that for me, it's not about time. It's about time that I look at the numbers. They're going down right now, which is good. And I pick and choose my battles wisely. But if you're going to come here, make sure that you understand the casinos so far, they're not doing a whole lot to make sure that you're safe. Now, that might change in time. And I'm not naming specific companies. And now I'm making enemies on the Strip. I'm sure Bill Hornbuckle and Tony Rodeo are watching this. Not watching this. They're not watching this. They're at their mansion somewhere with a private fireworks display. But, I'm making enemies by saying all this stuff, but people aren't doing the right things. They submitted a bunch of, notes to their spouses. They submitted their letters to the Gaming Control Board and said, we promised to do all this, just let us open up. And now we see the repercussions of all of that. And it's hard to see. So you have more of a responsibility. But I hope the government does wise up and does some things in order to make sure that these casino companies have accountability. So when we're all said and done, we know where the faults lie. Because the worst thing in the world is not knowing what causes it. We have to have the cause. So going forward, we can have the solution. There you go. All right, guys. You guys are beautiful people for being with me on the live stream tonight. I appreciate everybody who was very cool with me. I had some little viewer activities, all the chatters, all the viewers. We had Gary Shipley, CJ's daddy, Shoejack, Shine, Paper City Gamer Jeff, Michael Brown, Paul Mosley. I'll be around on the Strip. I'll be out on the live stream in a little while, but I got to have a shower. I got to take care of a lot of things. I see, look, we got Mark saying Flamingo's giving out the masks. So things are changing for the better. And we'll have to go to the Strip next weekend possibly to take a look and see what they're doing. Some undercover words and undercover works. But that's it. I didn't want to leave you without a live stream today. It is, 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast. So, you're shooting off your fireworks and your dogs and your cats need to be near you so they don't get freaked out. If you have bad allergies and bad asthma, just know that tonight might be a rough one for you. I know it will be for me. But you guys are great. I want to say God bless all of you. I love the United States of America. It gives me an opportunity to just be an amplified version of myself, which is all that America really is. We're an amplified version of westernized culture and society. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. So tonight I will leave you with this, okay? Don't be ashamed to be an American. Don't be ashamed. Know that there's people that come here and risk their lives to come here. Know that this place right here has no one's going to ask you to show them your papers. No one's going to tell you that you can't start a business. No one's going to tell you that you can't do a lot of things. And that's a place. This is the experiment. This is the experiment. So don't look at your neighbors today as a Democrat or a Republican. Look at them as a human being. Look at them as a human being that's probably having as hard as a time as you are getting through things right now, understanding things, navigating life, and just know that you probably line up on a lot more values than you think you do. You really do. But because we have people on the television telling us we don't, and because we were trained to look to experts to tell us who's right, you look to those people as experts, but you probably line up with them on a lot more things than you think you do. And we're all generally good people, no matter what anybody might say to me. I don't know the battle going through their head that drove them to say that. So have a great time out there. Be good, be safe. Thank you guys so much. I got to go 3, 2, 1, click. And you guys are wonderful folks. And God bless all y'all. Bye, guys.